Donald Trump ran for president on this false narrative, this inaccurate claim that he's anti-war, that leaders across the globe so badly wanted him back in the Oval Office because he would prevent conflict, when we know that's just not the case. It's anything but that his own national security officials, his own generals, said that Donald Trump was a threat not to just national security, but global security. And part of this big lie that Donald Trump told about his role on the world stage was that he would stop the fighting in Ukraine. But really what he meant by that is he would force President Zelensky to the negotiating table and he would have him give up huge pieces of land to Putin, because we know that's who Donald Trump really serves. But President Zelensky, in an interview that just aired on Fox, dropped a bomb on that plan of Donald Trump's that is completely devastating him, and I cannot wait to check out the courage of President Zelensky with you in this interview. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now, this interview was on Fox, but it was incredible, and what Zelensky said at the end was so important, so let's check it out.
President Zelensky, thank you for speaking with Fox News.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Fox News, that you're here.
Today, you and I visited the eastern front lines. Your soldiers are currently repelling Russian attacks at multiple different locations. It's been 1,000 days since the invasion began. How would you describe the current state of the war?
Very difficult period. Really, sometimes we compare, is it the most difficulties or not? I think the most difficult was the first days of the war, because we've been, circle of Russian troops was around the capital, and mostly Ukraine was occupied. Not all our country, but everybody didn't know what will be. Yes, I think that was the most difficult period. But now, this period, this moment depends, I think, on our unity in Ukraine. And I think that what is very dangerous if we will lose unity in Europe, and what is most important, unity between Ukraine and the United States.
Last week, you criticized German Chancellor Olaf Scholz for speaking on the phone with Russian President Putin. Why?
I knew that he'd make a call. We had a meeting and he told me that he is going to. And I told him that, according to my opinion, that is really a Pandora's box. Putin's isolation is also the pressure against him. We fight not only by weapons, as you properly said, by diplomacy. Diplomacy is so important, and only diplomacy can end this war.
But, sir, how can you have diplomacy without talking?
No, we're talking. But after you know what will be soon. What Chancellor got after phone call? Nothing new.
And so your position right now is that Western leaders should not be speaking with Putin?
Intelligence of Western leaders, they had contact on the level of intelligence during this war with Russian side. They had a lot. Europe, United States, everybody they had. But it was not, against the political isolation of Putin. It was on the level of intelligence. Why? Because you have not recognized Putin as the president, because he is a killer. Otherwise, you will destroy this isolation, political isolation.
Isn't Putin the only one who can make the decision to end this war?
I'm sure that as of today, it depends on Putin, really a lot. He can do that. He can be willing and end this war. But it also depends on the United States of America much more. Putin is weaker than the United States of America. The President of the United States of America has the strength and authorities and the weapons, and he can decrease the price for the energy resources. By the way, I heard this signal from the media from President Trump, that he is thinking to decrease the price for energy sources, for oil, and it is needed to be done.
Are you hopeful that President-elect Trump will be able to influence Putin to end the war?
It will be not simple, but I think if to use all the issues what United States has, yes, he can, because he is much more stronger than Putin. He's stronger. United States stronger. Economy stronger. Money, big money. United States has very big influence.
I want to ask you about some comments you made regarding possible negotiations last week. You said the U.S. can't force you to sit at the negotiating table. What if the U.S. government cuts military funding to Ukraine?
If they will cut, I think we will lose. Of course, anyway, we will stay, we will fight. We have our production, but it's not enough to prevail, and I think it's not enough to survive. But that will be, if such choice will be American choice, so we will decide what we will have to do.
President Zelensky will not be strong-armed. As you heard him say there at the end, even if the U.S. goes forward and cuts off funding to Ukraine, he will not bend the knee to Donald Trump. He will not come to the negotiating table with Putin because he knows what it means. He knows what Donald Trump wants. Of course, he's not outright saying it. He tried to compliment Trump a little bit there, win a little favor, make sure that funding continues to come that Ukraine so desperately needs, that the world needs for Ukraine, but he's not bending the knee. And I love that. That is incredible. That really just blows up Donald Trump's whole plan to try to force Zelensky into Putin's hand. And I think that is incredible. So much courage from President Zelensky in the face of such spineless Republicans like Lindsey Graham right here.
Ukraine is still standing. This war is about money. People don't talk much about it. But you know the richest country in all of Europe for rare earth minerals is Ukraine. $2 to $7 trillion worth of minerals that are rare earth minerals, very relevant to the 21st century. Ukraine's ready to do a deal with us, not the Russians. So it's in our interest to make sure that Russia doesn't take over the place. It's the breadbasket of really the developing world. 50% of all the food going to Africa comes out of Ukraine. We can make money and have an economic relationship with Ukraine that'd be very beneficial to us with peace. So Donald Trump's going to do a deal to get our money back, to enrich ourselves with rare earth minerals, a good deal for Ukraine and us, and he's going to bring peace. And Biden's been a disaster when it comes to containing bad guys.
No, Lindsey, this war is not about money. It's not some art of the deal nonsense from Donald Trump. It's about stopping a murderous dictator in Putin from taking more land and attacking our allies. That is what it is about. It's about defending democracy around the world. Of course, Lindsey Graham doesn't care about that. And this is what Republicans continue to say, that Donald Trump will bring peace. He'll stop these endless wars, something that he never did. And he never explains what peace looks like. He never explains how peace that he promises for Ukraine will actually benefit them or any of our allies. I vividly remember Donald Trump saying that he wouldn't stop Russia from attacking NATO allies because he doesn't care. He has no plan. We know that. Just listen to Lindsey right here.
And that then puts the entire region in jeopardy.
Yeah, and day one, when Trump gets to be president, Putin's going to knock all this crap off. The world's going to fall into place pretty quickly. We'll get a deal in Ukraine that's an honorable deal that will not entice China to invade Taiwan. I don't want to humiliate Putin, but I don't want to create another war by doing a bad deal.
So Lindsey promises that Trump will get Putin to knock this crap off, but he doesn't say how. And again, why Donald Trump wants Zelensky to come to the negotiating table is because he wants him to give up land. That would be peace for Trump. Ceding his territory would be peace. But we know what it's really going to be. It's just going to be another step in Vladimir Putin eventually going after more land in Ukraine, eventually going west into Europe. That is the worry. And that is what Donald Trump doesn't seem to care about. Why? Because he's willing to always serve Putin above our allies, because he is someone who is so easily flattered, so easily wooed by dictators, as Kamala Harris warned us, that he'd do whatever Putin wants. Whatever he wants. Always. Just like Republicans will do whatever Donald Trump wants. It's a very similar relationship. And speaking of which, Lindsey had some complaints on behalf of Donald Trump about some movement in the Senate on President Biden's judicial nominees that we got to take a look at right here.
How do you stop Chuck Schumer from pushing through these radical
votes,
nominees?
I'm not good at math, but I do know this. They have a 2-seat majority between now and January the 6th. If I can get 2 Democrats to vote against a Biden nominee and we all show up, we win. I'm telling the audience tonight there are a handful of Democratic judicial nominees that 2 Democrats or more will vote against, but we all got to show up. I tend to vote for presidential picks, but the people being chosen now are the worst of the bunch. I voted against all of them. I have a couple of Democrats who agree with me that these people are too radical. The way we beat them is for every Republican to show up and pick up 2 Democrats.
The hypocrisy of Republicans, especially Republican senators, to say that President Biden shouldn't be able to get through any more of his judicial nominees is utter nonsense. It's not like President Biden is just nominating 100 new judges right now. That's not what happened. That's not what's happening. These are nominees that have already been on the books that President Biden is just trying to get through. It is unlike Donald Trump, who is ramming through even more judges than President Biden is trying to in his lame duck, one of which oversaw his classified documents case in Florida. Yes, Eileen Cannon, someone who obstructed justice on behalf of Donald Trump. So the hypocrisy is staggering. And I think President Biden should push through as many judges as possible. New or old, it doesn't matter. We need to safeguard as much as we can in the judicial system against Donald Trump, and that's what President Biden and Senate Democrats need to do. And we are going to keep talking about that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.